Hi, my name is Kevin, and I'm a vocational rehabilitation counselor. And from what I understand, you want to be something. Well, just like you, there was a time in my life not that long ago where I wanted to be something, but I had no idea what that was. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I came to become a vocational rehabilitation counselor and what a VRC is. Like many of you, I graduated high school with no real idea what I wanted to do. I knew some things I liked, some things I didn't like, and I knew for sure that I needed to have a job that would allow me to have some fun in the future, maybe do some traveling, hopefully own a nice car, and just be able to be comfortable. My journey found me in college with some advice of some friends, my school counselor, and my parents. Um, while there, I studied law and justice, and I came to graduate without really wanting to pursue a career in law enforcement or in the courtroom. It kind of left me unsure of where I wanted to go. Luckily for me, while I was in college, I got a chance to study abroad and visit some countries that were developing nations, and the people weren't doing as well as we have the opportunity for here in America. While there, I realized that I really like people. I'm a people person. I don't want to work with things or data. I like working with people. While I was there, I also got to understand that, I have some things I can offer people. I might not be able to use all my new law degree information, but I do have some skills and a personality that allows me to work well with others. As a result, after college, I graduated and I joined the Peace Corps. And I went and I taught English for 2 years in Albania. People definitely laughed at my New Jersey accent, which I've been working on, but they appreciated it. And I lived in a little village, and I got an opportunity to really help others. That's kind of where I got my start. I didn't know it till later, but while I was there, I helped my first client as a vocational counselor. When I was there, I helped one of the locals apply for a position with a Norwegian company, but all the work was done in English. And I had to help prepare this young man for an interview with a country like America, Norway, where they ask a certain type of question and they kind of expect you to answer in a certain way. And they have certain things they want, like they don't want the New Jersey hand talking. But my job was to help him, and he got the job. And I can honestly say, here we are, almost 11 years later, and he's still working for this Norwegian company and providing for his family. After I left Albania, I came back to the United States, and I moved in with my significant other. At that point, I really wasn't sure where my career was going to take me. I did a few odd jobs. I sold suits at Macy's. I worked for a bank for a while. But here I was with a 4-year degree, making not really enough money to kind of do anything fun or have any security in my life. So, with the advice of, my significant other, I kind of narrowed it down and realized that working with people and helping people is what I like to do. So I applied for school, and I got into a master's program to become a counselor, a mental health counselor. At the time, it was, how am I going to pay for this? I'm still paying my loans from my undergraduate degree. Well, that's the beauty of what I like to call, chaos, or Trumbo's theory of, vocational learning. Everything kind of happens for a reason. And if you're prepared and open to opportunities, you can take advantage of them. So I applied for school, and I found myself kind of looking over the school website to see, are there any scholarships, anything I could apply for. Lo and behold, they were hiring for assistants in the career counseling center. And I said, hey, it's not mental health counseling, but it's a career center. So I applied, and I got this position part-time that paid for my schooling. While working at the career center, I realized that I loved it. I loved helping people figure out what their career was, going over some interest assessments, helping them, do research on what careers pay, where the jobs are. Is there long-term projections that there will be a career for them in the future? Or is this a career that's kind of dying off and they should stay away from it? While working there, a contact of mine said that a workforce center down the way, much like the one you have in Ocean County, was hiring. So I went and I applied there for a career counseling position, and given my current enrollment in a master's program, they hired me. While there, I worked with people who were 16 to 24 years old, helping them figure out their career paths, getting their first jobs or second jobs, and figuring out, where they were going to go with their lives. After I graduated with my master's in counseling, I realized I did not want to spend every day of my life helping people with their mental health issues and overcoming that. That's just not for me. Sitting in that chair every day was just not a good fit. At that point, I moved to Alaska with my family, and I obtained a job as a vocational rehabilitation counselor, voc rehab counselor. So this is a career that most people kind of never really hear about. But our job is to help people with disabilities obtain and maintain employment. There are voc rehab counselors in every single state. It's mandated by law that every state offers these services to people with disabilities. Your Ocean County American Job Center, they have voc rehab counselors there as well. What does a voc rehab counselor do? As a vocational rehabilitation counselor for the state of Alaska, my role was to take applications from individuals who wanted to apply for services, determine if they were eligible or not through a review of their medical history, their employment history, and meeting with them to discuss kind of where they were in life. I had support from medical doctors and psychiatrists who came in to help me understand all this, medical knowledge that was not really my strength. But then once someone was made eligible, I worked with them to develop a plan for employment. We would do assessments. I would talk to them about career paths, opportunities. We would do work internships if need be. Sometimes I would send people to schooling, short-term, full 4-year degrees, whatever the case may be to get that person employed in a profession that was A, a good fit for them, B, had potential for long-term growth, and C, was a viable option in the area that they lived. Now, I worked as a voc rehab counselor for the state of Alaska for about 3 years before I had to move again. Now, I run my own business. I have a voc rehab counseling business right now where I work on contract with the state. So instead of having a caseload in the office where I have 60 to 80 clients that I'm working with, the state will not call me. And the other counselors will call me and say, hey, Kevin, I have this client. He's looking to learn more about this career field. Could you work with him one-on-one to determine if this is a good fit for them? Or they might call me and say, hey, Kevin, my client so-and-so just graduated with an IT degree, associate's program, and they're looking for employment, but they don't have any idea how to write a resume, interview, look for work, or prepare cover letters. So they'll hire me to work one-on-one with that client to prepare them to apply for and obtain employment. I also work with clients to figure out how we can make sure that they can stay in their job if they acquire a disability. I'll talk to employers to figure out, what type of accommodations they can provide to an individual. It could be something as simple as a ergonomic chair and desk to help with their arthritis. It could be something a little bit more elaborate, such as, moving their office to a whole nother floor if it's not handicap accessible for some variety of reasons. My job is exciting. It's fun. I like it because as a small business owner, I choose my own hours. I accept the contracts I want to work, and it gives me the freedom and flexibility to be here with my family when I need to. So as you might be able to tell, my career path has kind of been all over the place. Never in my past did I ever think that I'd kind of own my own small business or that I'd be doing the job that I do right now. It's likely that your career paths are also going to be kind of all over the place. Very few people have linear paths. Some of us are fortunate enough to have a career goal that they wanted ever since they were young, and they stick to it. Kudos to them. But what can you do to prepare for all the potential opportunities that might come up and all the decisions you have to make as far as where you want your life to go? Well, there's a few things you can do right now. I mean, you can start this stuff at 15, or even earlier if you wanted. And those things, are the key to being prepared to take advantage of the opportunities that might come up. First of all, what you really want to do is you want to be aware of those around you. You want to build your network. What a lot of people don't know is that there is kind of a hidden job network out there, and that is how many jobs are obtained. A lot of careers are found that way through people whether it's your parents, your guardians, friends, relatives, your friends' parents, keeping up good relationships with those around you and learning about what they do for a living will help give you insight into what jobs are available out there. Additionally, when you know a lot of people and have a good relationship with them, they're more likely to say to you, hey, this is what I do for a living. We got an opportunity coming up. Are you interested? Trying a variety of jobs when you're younger and you have the support of those around you is a great way to kind of narrow down what you like and don't like. But keeping that network alive is really important. Keeping in touch with those people that you used to work with at your last job. Just calling every 6 months to a year and saying, hey, this is so-and-so. I just wanted to check in and see how you were doing. Keeping that going is really good. Because in addition to kind of knowing what jobs to apply for, you're always going to need to have solid references. People who can attest to your work ethic, your character, who you are. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the hardest thing to do is get someone a job if they don't have any references at all. Getting someone a job who has limited work experience is possible, but getting someone a job who has no references is very difficult. So say you haven't worked before, or say you don't get out of the house much. Start thinking about where you might want to volunteer, whether it's at your high school or a local club nearby. Because when you volunteer places, you meet other people who you can put down as a reference that aren't friends, but professional acquaintances or coworkers or a volunteer lead. So building references and maintaining a strong network with people around you is very important. Additionally, keeping track of your work history, your volunteer history, your school accomplishments, all of that is essential to building a strong resume. An entry-level resume might be one page and easy to write up. But as you get older and you start applying for more high-level jobs, they're going to want more detail on your work history. For example, if you want to work for the federal government, they want to know things like how long were you at a job, day to day, like started this day of the month and ended this day of the month. Was it part-time, full-time? What was the pay? What were the job duties? So as you begin your career and move forward, make sure you're keeping a Word doc or some type of electronic record of what jobs you've done, the day you started, the day you ended, who your supervisor was, what their contact information is, the address of the place you worked, what your job duties were, what your job title was. All that information will only build. And even 15 years from now, if you have this long history going back your whole career, you might not put all that on your resume, but having that information is very helpful. So begin now recording everything you know about what jobs you've done, the people you've worked with, the people you worked for, potentially getting those people that you worked for to be your references, and building that network, keeping that alive. This is a key. When you meet a 22, 24-year-old who doesn't have a strong work history and no references, it's very difficult for them to get work. But even if you have part-time summer jobs or just delivering newspapers when you're younger, and having a record of that and references from your employer makes all the difference in the likelihood that you'll get the job you want. You kind of build your references and you start working on a resume, there's resources out there to help you with making it professional. Your school, I'm sure, offers some type of resume support from the counseling office. Additionally, the Ocean County One-Stop Career Center offers virtual assistance right now with resume writing and career building. You can also go online and find millions of templates. The biggest thing about a resume is to make sure that the format is professional, consistent throughout, no pictures, no artwork, and you're including data like the job you had, the company you worked for, the city and state it was in, the month and year you were there, and the month and year you left, as well as brief job descriptions. For more details on that, talk to your school counselor. Or better yet, take a look in your area. Are there any local colleges nearby? If you go on their career services website, they're going to have career information to support their students that's open to the public. Take a look at their resume examples. It'll give you a good idea of what information you should be collecting and maintaining with your career. So that's what you can do to get started now. But how can you plan for the future? Well, it's a bit tricky. Go back to that network. Think about all the people you know, all of your friends and their parents. What do they do? You have a friend whose dad is a construction worker, or another one who's maybe a teacher and you're interested in doing that. Ask them if you can interview them. We call this informational interviewing. Any chance you get to actually sit down and talk one-on-one with someone who does a job that you might be interested in is an opportunity you cannot miss out on. Because at the end of that meeting, you might say to yourself, no, I definitely don't want to do that. But that's great, because now you can eliminate one option that you don't have to think about anymore. Or maybe they'll give you information about a job you didn't know, and that makes you more interested and makes you want to learn more about it. Well, they're already doing the job. So you can ask them, hey, how do I get into this? What can I do now to prepare myself for this career field? And remember, when you're talking to adults or other people who are working in the fields that you're potentially interested in, you need to have a criteria. You need to know what information you want. So think about it. You want to know, kind of what is the pay average for this career field? You want to know, is this job in demand? Is this going to continue to grow? Are there going to be jobs for me in this field in the future? What are the hours like? Some jobs are 40 hours a week. That's it. Others are 60, 70 hours a week. Where is this job located? I live in New Jersey. I want to live in New Jersey. Well, if most of these jobs are in the big city in Philadelphia or New York, maybe that job's not a good fit for you. Perhaps it's remote. These are things you can find out by interviewing and talking to people who work in the field. Additionally, what is the daily task like? I told you before, I like working with people. I figured that out. But I also know that as a vocational rehabilitation counselor, some of my day has to be spent writing reports, taking notes, recording information, and doing research. And that's a sacrifice. I don't mind sitting at the computer doing that work. I don't enjoy it, but I do it because it will benefit my clients, and it's part of the job. So figure out, hey, what do you do every day? What does your day look like? Ask them that. When they start describing their day, you might be like, oh, that sounds all right. I could do that. Or you might be like, whoa, I didn't know you had to sit by a desk so long. Might not be a good fit. These types of things, recording your work history, making sure you build a strong network and keep professional references that you can use for your applications, and completing informational interviews, even if it's just over a coffee or a water to learn more about someone's job. Do you really know what the librarians at your library do every day? You might have an idea, but have you asked them? Hey, what does your day look like? Do you always stand behind this desk? I doubt it. I bet there's a lot of work that goes into operating that library that you don't even know about. Talking to someone is the best way to gain actual information. A couple other ways to gain factual information to help you make your career decision will be using legitimate resources, most of which you can find right on the internet. The onetonline.org and mynextmove.com are two resources where you can gather lots of information about a variety of careers. In fact, the latter, mynextmove.com, offers free interest inventories where you go in there and you can say, I like this, I don't like this, yes, no, I like this, I dislike this strongly. And at the end, it'll give you a list of ideas of careers that might be a good fit for you. Then you can go through that list, look at what their daily tasks are, look at what the average pay is. Is the job growth growing up or going down? And as you kind of start narrowing down your options and eliminating ideas, then there's the time to say, okay, I found 10 jobs that I might be interested in. Let me go talk to the local one-stop center or talk to my guidance counselor at school and see how can I learn more about this. These are all things that you can start now. There's no reason to wait till you graduate high school and they're like, oh, what are you going to do next? Start now. Start figuring out, what jobs are out there. What opportunities are there for me? A lot of people talk about college. You got to go to college to get a degree, get a job you want. Some jobs require on-the-job training. Some require certifications or apprenticeships. There's a variety of training opportunities and educational opportunities out there. Some career paths require a degree. So you got to start figuring out, what career do I want? And what school would I have to go to get trained to do it? Other trainings require skilled labor. Go to your One Stop Career Center website. They offer a variety of training and educational opportunities. And even if you're not going to take advantage of them, they're only going to offer training and educational opportunities to careers that are in demand and growing. So it'll give you a good sense for what is out there. And I bet they even have a high demand job list that they update quarterly, if not monthly, to show you what careers are in demand in your area. And as you kind of go through your next 2, 3, 4 years, as you try to figure out what is going to be in front of you, the most important thing is to know that the better prepared you are, the more likely you'll have a chance to take advantage of the opportunities that come up. Your path is likely to be like mine. You try a few different jobs, they don't work out, you get trained in something and it's not exactly what you want, but as you're training, as you're learning, as you're exploring what's out there, you're going to start to narrow down the job fields until you find one that's a good fit for you. Don't forget the power of having a mentor. A lot of people have been through this before. Sometimes you just need someone to bounce ideas off of. Look around you. Do you have an uncle, an aunt? Do you have a friend, a teacher? Do you have someone who can be a mentor to you, who can help you figure out if something's really a good option? A large part Of deciding on kind of what career is a good fit for you and figuring out where your career is going to take you is about being kind of organized. And even though that's not my strength, anyone can do it. As you can tell, most of what you're going to learn as you take different jobs is that you don't like something, or this is good, but it's not good for me long term, until you find something that you're like, yeah, this could be a good fit. I encourage you to keep track, to use a template, whether it's a spreadsheet or just a journal, anything where you can write down what you like or don't like about jobs. Complete interest inventories that are free online from a lot of websites like the one I mentioned, mynextmove.com, or even if they're given at your school. Complete them every year. See what changes, what doesn't change. Are your interests changing as you get older? Are you learning something new in school that you're like, wow, is there a career in this field? I really, really suggest that you keep track of your employment history, you keep up to date with your network and potential mentors, and you try a variety of jobs. You might have a job each summer that's easy and you like it and it pays good, but trying something new is the only way to truly see kind of what is out there. Take advantage of those around you. Take advantage of all the people who are willing to share their story with you about their career path and the careers they've done, because you never know when you're going to hear about a job or an opportunity that you didn't know was right for you. Never know, you might find yourself wanting to become a vocational rehabilitation counselor like myself, and I encourage that. The job growth is good, the pay is good, and you get to do a job that helps other people, which makes you feel good. I appreciate your time and hope that you find the career that makes you happy.
Support public libraries. Like, share, and subscribe for more great videos.